Welcome back, friends. We find ourselves now once again, another month later. Here we are in the February update for the Dividend Portfolio as time continues to tick. And there was a saying that I want to share with you. It's to live every single day like it's your last, because eventually one day you will be right. And there have been a couple people that have said this, and it's always kind of stuck with me. But when I think of it, this saying, I don't think of it in terms of YOLO. You only live once, so might as well live your life to the fullest. I think of life in terms of base hits. Base hit after base hit, small step after small incremental step, to eventually get to this climactic point of the outcome that it is that you truly desire. If you look off into the distance, we all have a goal. We all have a dream. Of course, we all have this desire for hopefully a better life. I can't imagine we all want to be the same and stay the same. But into that distance, it can become a reality if you just continue to chip at it over time. So when I think of that quote, that's what I think of. But enough with that little ramble out the way, friends. It's good to see you here again. I see there have been a couple more followers that have joined this journey of this Dividend Portfolio series. And just to reassure you all, despite what continues to evolve on this channel in terms of motivation and personal self-growth and trying to be a better person, this dividend series is never going to stop. I have this vision, like I said, into the distance, in this case, of a multi-million-dollar dividend portfolio. And as you saw in my last video, as you're going to see today, we got a long way to go, but we got the funds, we got the time, we're going to leverage it all, and I know what the outcome will be, as long as I won't stop, because we continue to hit these milestones. And as long as we continue and just never stop on this path, there's no reason why we won't hit it. And the same will go for you, friends. The same will go for you in your dividend portfolio, or whatever it is that you decide to do in this life. But as always, friends, with the monthly updates, I'll go over my portfolio review. Some of this may be redundant, some of it will likely still be the same, but I think it's important to just still talk about it as new people join the journey in different months and things like that. But I'll share with you how much I fund my portfolio and how often, give you just a general breakdown of my sector allocations and percentages. Also just touch on slightly on some of the best and worst performers per each sector. I'll also share with you my current number of holdings. I'll also share with you my current dividend portfolio's yield, which tends to change, month to month, as well as my expense ratio. And then I'll also just briefly remind you all of some of my short and long-term plans. Sometimes these do tend to change. But also, friends, you guys should make it into a practice to say them out loud. Put your goals out there, put your plans out there, regardless if they're short-term or long-term. By me every single month just putting it out there for the universe, I'm just reinforcing what it is that I want to do. When you put things out there, you have to back them up, right? That is your word. So by me putting out these plans out there every single month, I just got to continue to back it up. It's accountability, and that's important. And ultimately, friends, of course, like we always do, I'll also share with you how much my dividend portfolio currently pays me in dividends. And if you watched my last milestone video, we have crossed the $2,000 a year in dividends mark. So likely, we're not going to be too far from that. It's only been a little bit, and we've only invested once more since that time. But I'm still going to share it, regardless. But before we begin, friends, as you saw by the title of this video in particular, what are 3 reasons why I invest into dividends? I just want to talk on these 3. And every once in a while, maybe in these monthly videos, I'll bring up a topic, and I'll also just mention some of the things that I believe in as a dividend investor. Maybe some things will be helpful as we continue to make our way over time. We have a long way to go, and we got to make these videos interesting, right? At least until I get to the point again where I'm investing $500 every week, but it won't be for a little while. I'm still in a master's program, and we got other priorities currently. But the funnel isn't running dry. We're still investing every single week, although a little bit less than what we used to. But friends, I know you have your reasons as to why you're a dividend investor. I have mine. For the first one, I have time to invest. I'm 27 years old. I'm gonna be 28 this year. I started this dividend portfolio when I was 24, and in that year I was turning 25. So we've been at it for a little bit of time now. But ultimately, friends, if you have time and you want to leverage it, You want to take the slow and steady approach. You want to take that base hit approach, like we were talking about earlier. Dividend investing is one of the best strategies to do that. I've had my experience with penny stocks, growth stocks, and nothing has really, caught my eye more in terms of the lifestyle that I want to live and leverage my time, leverage my money more than dividend investing. I take the base hit approach, and that kind of ties into the second reason. It's a safe and conservative investing strategy. It's the same mindset, of leveraging time, taking that base hit approach. I don't want anything too flashy. I don't want any portfolio that's going to kind of keep me up at night where I'm thinking about, all these swings of an up market, a down market. This portfolio is so even keel. Apart from setting it up, that was it. But I have so much belief and confidence in this portfolio. We've been through a lot already, and we continue to just move slowly, take steps forward, despite the turbulence. If you invest in the right blue chip companies, they are going to be considered what we all imagine are boring. They're time tested, and with that, you can sit in confidence, lay at night in confidence that your portfolio will take care of itself and ultimately lead to that number 3, which is a passive stream of income. That is one of the reasons as to why I invested in dividends, is to create this passive stream of income through this slow and steady approach, just building itself in the background. That way in the future, when I need it one day, when I do go to retire, it's like a whole extra passive stream, just kind of funneling my retirement. And if possible, friends, I think we all want to have a comfortable, cushy retirement. I can't imagine anybody would want a retirement where they're stressed about funds. And maybe if your 401k doesn't hit it right? Maybe the timing is off. Maybe you can hang your hat on the fact that you started a dividend portfolio maybe 2 decades prior to retirement, and now by the time you go to retire, it's significant. Maybe giving you $30, $40, maybe $20,000 a year in passive income. Those are just some of the reasons as to why I decided to invest in dividends. And now making our way forward in the video, friends. Here we are in the Jesse's Cash Flow portfolio. We continue to make progress. As you see, at least in this week's video, we have a little bit of dip in the market. We're now down to $64,966.60, but the dip no longer worries me. It's going to swing the way it swings. But at the end of the day, as we all know, we're dividend investors, investing for the future, nest egg, investing to build this passive stream of income. So it's twice as good. If the markets are great, awesome, we'll see some green return. But if they're not, we'll still hang our hat on the fact that we still are earning dividends despite any turbulence. And that's what it's about. But on the all-time chart, friends, we currently have a return of $5,857.69, which is 17.72 in percentage. As far as market gain alone, it's $3,070. And as far as earned dividends, all time, we're now up to $2,787.57. And just speaking of a little down market here, over our last week, we lost $1,214. And then just going into our month's performance, it's pretty flat for the most part, but still in the red, down 0.73%, which is a loss of $477.40. And then year to date, I always like looking at this one. We're still early into the year, but now we're getting into March here. But for the year, we have a return of 1.31%, which equates to a gain of $837.61. And I will say, friends, I know you guys have felt it. This year has been kind of rocky. There's a couple uncertainties in the air. COVID seems to be behind us, but the markets, whatever happened over these last couple years, we're still feeling it. But an interesting thing to point out here, let me just zoom in a little closer. But for market gain alone, it's $611.28 for the year. But this is the cool part. I've earned dividends for the year so far. It's almost a third of what my market gain is, adding $226.33. That's what it's about, friends. Right there. And as we make our way further into the video, I always just share that down in the description box. I do have a link to sharing my pie. I know I won't go into my sector allocation super in depth, but if you want to go into them more in depth, you want to see exactly what it is that I'm holding, you're curious, click on that link in my description box and it'll take you into my portfolio, into my pie, and it'll show you with greater detail what it is that I'm holding. Looks like our biggest return at the moment is tech, with a return of $1,482 or 24.27%. Just have faith, believe in what it is that you did at the beginning to build this portfolio, and just stick to it. The most important thing you can do is just not dry out the fund. Continue to funnel in money. That is the lifeline for your portfolio over time. Because I know for me, I keep every single company. I haven't really sold, to be honest. And the only reason I would sell, maybe because in consecutive quarters a company has slashed their dividends or something like that. But even then, I'd have to analyze it a little closer. Maybe it's just a rough patch in the company's history. Who knows? Everybody has to make their own decisions. But let's just see what the worst performer is. It looks to be healthcare, minus 8% or minus $369.92. And just to jump into a little bit more of the data of my portfolio, here we are showing you that I currently have 51 holdings, and this hasn't changed. It's the same 51 holdings that I've had since the beginning. And like I just got done saying, I don't really sell. I'm going to continue to ride with them unless there's a reason to not to. And then right next to the holdings, you can see my current portfolio's dividend yield of 3.106%, and that's pretty much right on par with where I want it to be. I'm always comfortable having it anywhere between 2.8 and like 3.2 or 3.3%. Anywhere in between there, I'm fully comfortable with. And as far as my expense ratio, it's 0.01%, or technically the smallest amount possible. And I just don't want to give away any more money than I need to. And part of it is I truly do enjoy having my own personal portfolio that I manage. It has its upsides, it has its downsides, but ultimately I enjoy having my own portfolio that I personally manage. It's fun for me. And maybe a lot of you dividend investors can also say the same. And just for a general update for the portfolio, as a lot of you know if you've been here for a while, I used to invest $500 every single week. Now I currently invest $100 every single week. And when I say every single week, I mean every single week. I have it set on automatic deposits, so it happens automatically. I don't have to think about it. And I really feel like that is key to the consistency, because we are going to have errors. We're not perfect, but technology, they're going to show up for you every single week. They will do that deposit. I mean, they'll do it even if you don't have the money for it. You'll just have to worry about your bank after. But jokes aside, I currently invest $100 every single week, and that is my current game plan for the short term, up to maybe 2 to 3 years. In this time period, I'm really trying to build up some cash reserve to have just ready as dry powder to invest into real estate in the same time frame within the next 2 to 3 years. I want to kind of dip my toe in, get some type of property going, whether it's for personal use, whether it's for an investment. I just want to be ready. So right now I'm really focusing a lot on trying to build up a cash reserve. So I decreased that funnel from $500 to $100. Ultimately, the longest term plan is to never stop this dividend portfolio, never stop investing, go decades on end. And hopefully by the time I reach the age of 50, when I'm also retiring from my actual nursing job, if that's the case, I will have a multi-million-dollar dividend portfolio. And although you guys just saw it if you saw my last week's video, here we are once again in the Div Tracker app. I always do mention that I'm not affiliated, I'm not sponsored by this app. It's just the app that I personally use, have been using for a while, and there's really no reason to not use it. I haven't really found an app that does it all automatically for you. In this one I do also have to plug in everything manually, but maybe that's a good thing. That way they're not connected like that. But as you can see, it's $64,966.59. So give or take a penny, that's pretty much as close as you can get. And as you can see here, my annual dividend income is $2,010.65. So I believe it's like maybe $3 or $4 more from my milestone video. So progress continues to be made. But as far as the monthly breakdown, we're making $167.55. And then as far as the Div Tracker's note on the dividend yield, it's 3.25%. I know M1 said 3.1%. Here we are at 3.25%. So it's somewhere likely in between. And like I generally say, I'm totally fine with that. But that's going to be it, friends, for this update. I'll see you guys in March. But just know time continues to tick if you have something planned for the future of your life, my friends. You gotta start. If you continue to push it off, don't you see that time passes regardless? It passes regardless if you're moving, regardless if you're not. What I like to do is just look at the people ahead of me. That's a reminder that time does pass. And it doesn't matter whether you navigate this life purposefully, successfully, your outcome will be your outcome, deserved. So think ahead, plan ahead, and instead of being behind time, be ahead of it, be ahead of the game. Don't get to the end of your career and say, man, my body hurts, I'm tired, I want to retire, and then not be able to. Plan today. Think of it today. That way you have the option. You have the option to stop at any point in the future that you want. Maybe one day you'll be like, man, I'm good. I'm not going to go in tomorrow. I can retire. How liberating would that be to just have that option? But as always, friends, thanks for stopping by for the February update. And soon enough, time will pass, and I'll see you in March.